still get nervous for some
Oh, do you?
reason. Yeah. I shouldn't do.
No, you should be at home. You're in your own comfortable studios.
I think I just put too much pressure on myself. That's my problem.
All right.
All right.
But by the way, it doesn't come across when I've watched your YouTube. Yeah,
That's because I'm always drunk.
Well, a couple of drinks always helps, doesn't it? Let's be honest.
It does. I've got a tipping point where, like when you play pool,
Yeah.
1-2 beers is good. You're in the zone.
Correct.
And then you get to 4 beers and you start tailing off.
Yeah.
There's I'd say if you really look closely at some of them, you can see.
Okay.
You can see my eyes going fucking 2 different directions.
All right. Well, we'll try not to do that today.
Oh, well, who knows? Who knows? We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
If it's up to Snakey, he will be pissed because he's an animal. He really is.
Snakey, have you got enough beers in there before we get started? You all right? Well, you don't have to, mate. You got one last chance to run down the bar if you want.
He's never fucking behaved in his life.
I was going to say, he looks like one of those guys. Just a fucking silent sleeper.
Ah, yeah. And
Silent
the
sleeper.
chicks fucking love him. He's a cunt.
Dave Chaplin,
Hi.
welcome to Lured Studios.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks very much.
Is this the first time you've ever done something like this?
I have never done anything like this in my life.
Well, today is your lucky day, mate.
Thank you.
Hey, we want to open with a nice little clip just for you, mate.
All right, excellent.
Doesn't it make you proud to be Scottish?
It's shite being Scottish! We're the lowest of the low! The scum of the fucking earth! The most wretched, miserable, servile, pathetic trash that was ever shot into civilization. Some people hate the English, I don't. They're just wankers. We, on the other hand, are colonised by wankers. Can't even find a decent culture to be colonised by.
Hey, I'm trying to live until I die. Come connect, you know it's a lewd state of mind. Yeah. Talking traveling. If you wanna fly,
You'd be familiar with this.
Yeah.
Living a better life,
Cool.
keep it raw, no filter. Living with no limit. Thank you for tuning in. Come on, let's get it.
Wow. Just mixing it up there for a little bit.
Yeah, a wee bit of train spotting. It's a classic movie.
Does it bring back memories?
Aye, so being Scottish, I don't think it's all that shite.
You don't think it's shite?
No, but having said that, I did leave when I was about 22. I couldn't wait to get out of the place. But I do love going back. I've still got loads of mates there, family. And yeah, no, being Scottish is all right.
Dave Chaplin.
Yes.
You understand how they came about with surnames, don't you?
I do.
So they could collect taxes and they want to differentiate between
Correct.
people.
Yeah.
So are we saying that your great-great-great-granddaddy was a chaplain?
A chaplain. So that's never been explained to me and never been proven. But of course I know how it works, and so ever since I was a young lad, I guess, and I was, at school you learn that obviously somewhere along the line there must have been a chaplain. Aye. But of course, Chaplin is spelt Chaplain if you're a chaplain, but my surname has dropped the A, so it's
Of course.
Lin.
I should have picked that up, shouldn't I? In all my extensive research.
Your extensive research has failed you, but no, but that also happens because even the way that they spell different surnames changes the way that obviously the way that it's spelt, but the meaning as well. So I think along perhaps a few centuries that probably happened.
So how far back in your family history do you remember? We're talking about great-grandfathers, grandmothers, great-great?
Nah. I remember my grandparents very well, but no, any further than that, not at all.
And your grandparents were around for a long time or a short time?
Yeah, so I had my dad's dad. I can remember visiting him on his deathbed. Right, I must have been maybe 5 or 6.
Oh.
Yeah, quite a mad thing to remember, isn't it? Really. But yeah, we were all taken down to the house, and we were ushered in and gave him a hug and a kiss, and I didn't realise that I was so young that death wasn't really a concept at that point.
I was going to ask you, did you know what you were there for?
Now looking back on it, I now know why I was there. But no, at the time, at the time, I think I might have known, but just it was all very vague. And
Yeah.
so that was my dad's dad. My mum's dad was a great influence on me, and he was a great character. He lived until he was 90, 91, thereabouts, and he was a great man. My mum adored him. All my aunties adored him, and we all adored him. He was just a good man and a funny guy and a character, you know.
You're from Glasgow, aren't you? Glasgow?
I'm from Glasgow, aye.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And all your family grew up in Glasgow?
Yeah, so my granddad that I was just talking about, my grandpa, they were from the north of Scotland, a wee town called Nairn, and next door to that there's a wee town called Elgin.
Hey, Mav, I'll just stop you there. Mav, you want to pull up that map? Because I was doing some research today. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't know about Scotland.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of questions about it.
Yep.
But so maybe you just want to open up that map and just you say up to the north.
Yeah.
And you want to zoom in.
Inverness, yeah, go up there. You can see Elgin's there.
Oh, there you go. Elgin, go back out, Mav. Go back out. Out a bit. So Inverness.
Where are we? Yeah. So you can see Inverness. If you go east up that road there, you can see Nairn.
Yeah.
Nairn.
Yep.
So that's where we would go every summer for our holidays, up to Nairn. And then just near there's a little place called Elgin. So my grandfather was from Nairn, my grandmother was from Elgin, and they obviously...
Zoom out, Mav. The one thing I didn't know about Scotland was it's got about 900 islands that make up Scotland.
Yeah. So
if you zoom out on that map, Mav, it actually doesn't look like there is, but there obviously is.
I didn't know that there was 900, I'll be honest with you. But over to the west coast there are lots and lots of islands and some beautiful countryside. The Outer Hebrides and the Inner Hebrides, Benbecula. Yeah, there's some beautiful places, the Isle of Skye. Yeah.
Have you been to New Zealand?
I have, yeah. I spent 6 months in New Zealand once upon a time.
How do you think the two compare? Because I know I've talked to some people that have compared the two.
Yep.
And they say there's a like for likeness. Would you agree with
that? A lot
that?
of similarities, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, good people for a start, eh? Good bastards.
Good people, good bastards. I've got family in New Zealand.
Oh.
Yeah, so my mum's brother and his wife, they emigrated there probably in the 60s.
Wow.
So by the time I came over to Australia in the late 80s, and then I spent 6 months in New Zealand, so I had the good fortune of going down to the South Island. They lived just south of Christchurch. Geraldine was the name. Yeah.
Yep. Gorgeous part of the world, mate.
Oh, lovely.
Gorgeous
lovely.
part of the world.
So I spent a few weeks with them, and I met my cousins I had never met before, and they were amazing. The hospitality was great.
Did they talk funny?
They've got silly accents, but apart from that, they were good people. You know?
Was it Scottish mixed in with this Kiwi?
No, they were pure Kiwis, but my uncle and auntie still had the broad Glasgow accents.
Yeah, of course.
Then from there we went down to Dunedin and then Invercargill, and so it's got the big Scottish influence down in the south of the South Island, isn't it?
The weather's about the same too.
Yeah, the weather's pretty shite.
Summer's shite.
Yeah.
We're gonna hear the word shite probably a few more times today, no doubt.
I'll try not to.
No, that's right. Shite's a good word.
Yeah, shite's
a good word.
Yeah.
Did you know that New Zealand's 3 times the size of Scotland? Did you know that?
No.
You didn't know that?
Really?
Yeah, I knew. Well, as I said, I'm only finding the stuff out today. It's amazing. And this is why I love doing what I'm doing, because otherwise I would never look this one up. But
well, having driven, I hitchhiked from the south of the South Island, so not Invercargill, but north of that. I hitchhiked all the way up back to Auckland.
Oh, perfect.
And this particular lorry driver was an absolute gem of a guy. He even let me sleep in his cabin. He didn't sleep in the cabin, I'm just letting you know that. He had a motel. But he said, big man, just sleep in and the hospitality was great. Yeah.
Good.
And the whole way we just chatted about, life. And so that's back in the late 80s.
Because as you say, I mean, truckers in the late 80s were getting up to some dodgy shit, weren't they?
Yeah, well, thankfully I must have met a good guy because he didn't... we had a kiss, but apart from that, Apart from that, nothing happened. Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with a wee little kisses there.
exactly.
Exactly. Oh, show appreciation.
That, just for the camera, that was a joke.
Hey, I've just talking about Scotland because as I said, I did a bit of research.
Yep.
Fun facts. Your national icon is a unicorn.
Really? A unicorn?
A unicorn. Yeah.
No, I don't know that.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe Google's lied to me, but it was come from Google.
I think Google's talking pish.
There's a high concentration of rangers or redheads.
Redheads, yeah, rangers, yeah,
Rangers?
correct.
That's true.
There are.
What do you
yeah.
think that's down to? You know, that's the
Well,
Viking
Yes,
blood running through your veins.
Celtic thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ireland, of course, is famous for rangers, but so is Scotland. And there's a big, and the Welsh for that matter, we're all Celts. My dad was a ranger, and well, before I turned grey, I used to have ginger beard. you
Oh,
know.
really?
Yeah, but now it's all just grey, so I just shave it off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
You're looking smart, mate. You do look good.
Ah,
You do look good.
Yeah,
Well, you're
well-
like 45.
Yeah, I used to be 45 for sure. Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that the Scottish invented golf.
They did. St Andrews, the home of golf. Of course.
Do you play golf? You're a golfer?
I am not a golfer. When I was younger, I played a lot of golf. I loved it. The funny thing was, I played right up until I left Scotland. I was a member of a local club, and yeah, just a hacker, but I wasn't too bad. But,
Is it like rugby in New Zealand where it's part of the DNA? Is golf part of the Scottish DNA where you grow up with a
Yeah.
golf club in your hand? Is that how it works?
It's probably not like rugby is in New Zealand. I mean, football, soccer is the DNA in Scotland.
Yeah.
That's the number one by far. Golf, traditionally, tended to be played by wealthier people rather than not, if you wanted to be a member.
Commoners. Yeah, yeah.
Not
No?
commoners, but yeah, it was a bit of a little bit elitist.
Yeah.
But not like cricket, or cricket was for posh people. But golf's a great sport. It is very popular in Scotland.
Well, it should be because that's where it came from.
That's where it came
of
from.
course.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where it came from. You've got more than 3,000 castles. What's that all about?
To keep the English out, basically, wasn't it? Yeah, those bastards. But
Well, look,
yeah.
okay, let's just break it down. What do we think about the English? Because we've had English guests on here.
Yeah.
I haven't asked them what they think about the Scottish, but I'd love to hear what you think about the English.
Yep.
Tell me straight from the heart,
Yep.
what do you think about English? The English people.
The English people. I actually love the English people, right? But I've been away from Scotland for 40 years. So a lot of my friends out here in Australia are Poms.
Yep.
And most of them are really good blokes and girls. They're good people.
You're talking about the ones that are here because they're not in England?
Nah.
Is there a difference? Do you think there's a difference?
There probably is a slight difference. I mean, you become slightly Australianised, don't you, when you live here for so long? But no, I've got loads of mates that still live in England that used to be out here, have gone back.
Yeah.
Great blokes, great girls.
They're not miserable fuckers like you hear.
Um,
Do they complain a lot?
Fucking whinging Poms.
Well, that's a typical phrase, isn't it?
Nah.
Fucking whinging Poms.
But it is a bit of a cliche. I've seen it out here and I've heard it.
Yeah.
But English people are great. My dad used to hate the English with a passion, right?
And there was a reason why.
Yeah, I'll tell you what the reason why was, because the weather forecast had come up on the television and going, Glasgow today is going to be overcast, wet, rain. It's going to be 3 degrees.
It's just shite.
London will be 22 degrees. It'll be sunny and bright. Of course, it's 600 miles south.
Yes.
It's going to have better weather.
Yeah.
My dad would go, fucking English. Fucking get all the good weather. But and we used to laugh, but he was serious.
Yeah. Or you compare that to Australia now, 35 degrees to your 22.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like the English will get sunburnt at 20 degrees if they take their shirts off because they're so pale because they're just not used to.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a general consensus with English, Scots, Welsh about the reason why they come to Australia? Do you think it's a lifestyle, climate change?
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Look, yeah, I would, 100%. Why did I come? I came, obviously the weather's an attraction, isn't it? Opportunities, it's just that I just felt when I lived in Scotland as a young man that work opportunities were very limited. It was difficult to just to make a quid, get by, and you kind of looked at Australia and you thought, oh, here we go, let's have a bit of that and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then when I landed, sure enough, that's how it's been. Look, touch wood, it's been for me, and I've never regretted it, to be honest.
Scotland's got 5.5 million people.
Yep.
In the entirety of the country.
Yeah.
Australia's what, 23 or 24 or something like that.
Yeah.
So as you say, that was the reason why I moved from New Zealand to Australia, was just the pure population advantage.
Yeah.
And everything it affords you and the opportunities that it provides.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and obviously you got the bonuses of the weather, not so much in Melbourne, but we have our good days and bad days.
Look, I think Melbourne's weather's brilliant. I'll tell you why, because I love.
Compared to Scotland, it's a fucking it's a walk in the park.
It is, isn't it? But you get you're going to get a nice summer. You know you're going to get from November till about April. You're going to get 6 months of decent weather. It gets a bit too hot during maybe January, Feb, but then you're going to get, by the time summer ends and even autumn, you're almost ready for a winter for a few months.
Yeah.
But, and then you know that you're going to get the summer again, so you just put on an extra jacket or an extra layer, and I think the Melbourne weather's, and Sydney people slag it off, of course Queenslanders do, but I think Melbourne's got a nice balance.
Do you think you could live in Queensland? Because I always said that Queensland, for me, is just too hot. It's just too uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't think I've spent a few months up in Cairns at one stage, and it was crazy hot. And then you get the mad rain as well, don't you? Well, they're experiencing it right now, aren't they?
Were you working or on a holiday?
Yeah, I was on a working holiday, so I was backpacking around. This is back in the late 80s, and I was working in Cairns for 3 months. Yeah.
Brilliant. How'd you like it?
Yeah, it was good fun. Yeah, you're young and single and having a laugh and getting out and about.
Yeah.
And obviously you needed to work just for your beer money and to pay for your youth hostels and stuff. So.
Did the chicks dig the accent? Was that a?
I can I take the Fifth Amendment on that one? My girls are going to watch this at some stage, and I'd rather. Yeah.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. Hey, Scotland had the first fire brigade. Did you know that?
Did not know that.
1709, I think, from memory.
Wow.
But there you go. They started the fire brigade. So
far out.
Do you get a lot of fires over there? Is that a common thing?
Well.
People burning shit down when they're drunk.
Do you know? Do you know there was a massive fire in Glasgow just 2 weeks ago, and a big historic building was burnt to the ground.
Oh shit!
Right next to the main Glasgow Central train station, which is where my mum and dad met each other in Glasgow Central. That's another story. But yeah, a great big. I think it was called the Union Building, caught fire. A vape shop, believe it or not.
Oh, I did. Yeah. So yeah, a vape exploded or something and started the fire. Fuck.
Yeah. So that fire burned for about 3 or 4 days before they managed to put it out.
That's insane.
And as I say, right next door was the main train station, Glasgow Central. Somehow they managed to stop it from spreading in there, so that's been saved. But there's been no trains out of that station. Perhaps now they're going again, but yeah.
Was it wooden or stone?
Well, so the facade was that sandstone. God knows what the floors and the ceilings would have been a lot of old wood in there. Yeah. Because it just went up like crazy.
It's sad, isn't it? It's sad
it was sad to see because it was one of those buildings that you'd walk down one of the main streets, Hope Street in Glasgow, and it'd be there. It was always there, and now it's not there anymore. It's crazy.
You guys invented the raincoat. Did you know that?
The Macintosh. That's why that often referred to as a Macintosh.
A Macintosh, yeah. Exactly. Fun fact.
It's a fun fact. What else did we invent?
Well, apart from the golf, excuse me, you've got the oldest post office. We know that. And you did the fried Mars bar, which I don't think is a fucking very good claim to fame, to be quite honest.
Now, the fried Mars bar and also fried pizzas.
Yeah.
Deep fried pizzas, deep fried Mars bars are the reason that the average age for Scotsmen in the 50s, 60s used to be like in the mid-50s.
Because of heart attacks.
Heart attacks, yeah. Pies, square sliced sausage, black pudding, white pudding.
Do you remember what your daily menu was?
By the time I grew up in the 70s, obviously things were getting better. But yeah, a lot of sausage, Scots sausage.
A lot of stodge.
Yeah,
a lot of carbs.
Yeah, a lot of potatoes, obviously.
Yeah.
But you'd get a lot of stews with vegetables in there. Your mum would hide the vegetables in the stew so that you didn't realise you were eating vegetables. But so back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, it was famous. Men wouldn't have a great long life expectancy. But nowadays, when I go back there, it's a different world now. They've obviously realised what's good for you and what's not. So it's changed.
Well, a top 10 search on Google actually brings up Scottish food
right
as part of the top 10, which I didn't expect to be in there. Yeah, so obviously the food culture there's gotten better, as you say.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? Like, when was the last time you were back there?
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going back again this year. I'm bringing Snakey with me.
That's right, we've got Snakey in the audience.
Snakey's in the
Welcome
audience.
to Snakey, yep. He's sitting there with Mav in the in the hot seat.
And so we're going to Ireland and Scotland in June, July this year. So that'll be good.
Perfect.
The food culture. Obviously, I live out here now in Australia. So, however, when I do go back, it's become a bit of a foodie's hotspot, and even just your standard meals, people are eating a lot healthier. They understand. I think we all do. We've all been educated on food and exercise and staying healthy and why we need to do it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Is haggis still up there?
Oh, haggis is beautiful. Right.
Can you explain to our listeners in layman terms
Yeah.
exactly what haggis is?
Well, I can explain what I know about it. All I know is it tastes great. But so it's a mixture of oatmeal. There's a lot of oatmeal. There's a lot of peppers in there. There's a lot of spices. But it's sheep's guts, isn't it? There's a lot of offal, what they call offal, which is the intestines of sheep and cows. There's blood in there, of course, as well. It doesn't sound too...
You're not selling it to me, mate. You're not selling it.
Well, look, I realise I'm not selling it. You asked me what was in it.
No, but
I've just told you.
it
tastes fucking great.
Well, I hope I can try it one day, because as I said...
Have you never tried it?
No, I haven't. I've never tried it. I mean,
Have you tried black pudding?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's similar to black pudding.
Same. Yeah. But I think to go there and experience it in its entirety, like you go to New Zealand, you do a
hungy.
A hungy, exactly.
Brilliant.
You knew exactly what I was going to say, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
perfect.
as I say, I spent 6 months there, so yeah. No, Kiwi land was great. I really enjoyed my time there. Yeah.
Perfect. Fried we forgot the Loch Ness Monster.
The Loch Ness Monster, yes. So
Is the Loch Ness still around? Is he still cruising?
well,
the
Loch
lake?
Ness is still around. That's up near Inverness, which you saw on the map earlier on. That's just south of Inverness. Loch Ness is a beautiful part of the world. Yeah, the monster does exist, and a lot of people will be watching this and they're going, "Fucking, he's talking shit." But I've never seen it. Right, my grandfather saw it. He actually he was a submariner. So I'm just making that bit up, to be honest.
It's going to be a great story.
Yeah, the Loch Ness Monster, yeah. So I'd encourage anyone watching this who's never been to Scotland, get yourself up there, get yourself to Loch Ness and see if you can view the monster, have a look at the monster. Because now and again it just pops its head up.
Yeah.
Has a look around, then fucks off again. Yeah, no, he's good.
It sounds like me.
Yeah. Well,
Just
why
pop
not?
my head up, see what's going on.
See
and
what's
fuck
going
off.
on, and then fuck off.
Yeah, it's only wankers around.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
dear. Hey, whiskey's your national drink.
It is.
It is.
Yep.
And for good reason.
Yeah, yeah. But here's the thing that I'm really ashamed to admit, and I'll do it on camera, for posterity. I don't drink whiskey. Of course, I love a wee sip now and again. It's nice, but and I know why I don't like it, because my dad used to drink it for fun, right? And so we'd be sitting around, we'd be watching football on the television. He'd have a beer and then he'd have a wee whiskey chaser. And as a kid growing up, you'd say, "Dad, what's that? What's that you're drinking?" He'd say, "Oh, that's a whiskey. Here, son, have a wee taste," right? So you're only maybe 8, 9, 10.
Perfect age to start, mate. Perfect age.
And if you straight whiskey, oh man, it's
fucking petrol, isn't
oh,
it?
it's crazy. And so from that very young age, I just got a taste against it, and I never ever took up drinking it. But as I've gotten older, quite a few of my mates like a malt whiskey, and I can see the attraction in that, especially if it's served over ice.
Yeah,
that's the way I like it, and it's milder. It's got that sort of more peaty taste and smell. So I can have one of those now and again, but it's not my go-to spirit.
So that means I'm not going to waste my good whiskey on you today.
No, I think we should try it.
have
It'd
a-
be rude not
okay.
to try it. Yeah.
Well, the thing is with me is that for some reason when you hit 50, like I had my 50th 3 years ago,
Yeah.
for some reason they think you like whiskey. I was always a gin drinker.
Yeah.
Always loved my gin.
Yeah.
And then of course I got a lot of whiskey for my 50th.
Yeah.
And sort of really just put it to the side. And I've only just recently got into drinking more whiskey, but my taste palette is more towards Japanese whiskies.
All right.
So obviously the Scottish and that a little bit more peaty. Yeah, I mean, people are listening to me going, "Well, you don't know what you're fucking talking about." No, I don't. I have no idea
Yeah.
because I'm not an expert. I'm not trying to be an expert,
Nah.
but I'm going to experience it. Like I've often said, I'm not going to fucking die wondering.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to give everything a nudge at least once.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with my whiskey journey at the moment. I just came back from Japan.
Yeah.
My wife was horrified because I spent a whole lot of money on an expensive bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
And I remember being in the whiskey store with my mates and they were wrapping it up for me. And I said, "Well, I guess I'm a whiskey guy now, mate. I guess I'm a whiskey guy."
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I think if you spend money on something that has value, whether it has value in anybody else's eyes is irrelevant.
Yeah.
It has value to me and I will enjoy it. And I buy stuff like that to enjoy with other people.
Yeah.
So I know that I'm going to crack that bottle with Cookie, Ivan Cook.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
going to
yeah.
crack it with him,
Yeah.
like I promised I would. So Cookie, if you're watching this, I said I was going to save it for you, which I am.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, good.
Sharing is caring, mate. Sharing
Yeah,
is
yeah,
caring
yeah.
for sure. So
No, like I say, whiskey's one of those acquired tastes. It's not for everyone. And my mate Snakey, who's in the booth next door, he'll put Coke in there, and I just
Snakey. Right, we're going to have to stop. Snakey's got to leave the building because that's disgusting. Jesus Christ.
Although he's more of a bourbon man, aren't you, Snakey?
Yeah. Oh, look, I can understand fucking a bourbon with some Coke. I
Yeah.
mean, because that's what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, bourbon's not whiskey, is it? It's not.
What is bourbon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of people screaming, thinking, fucking bourbon's the best. Bourbon's
Yeah.
the best. Yeah, hey, every man to their own.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. That's exactly right.
fine. Hey, going back to your
Yeah.
memories about your father
Yes.
and letting sip the... What are some of the earliest memories that you've got of being with your family
Yeah.
in your home in Glasgow?
Yeah.
And what sort of upbringing did you have?
So a traditional family, mum and dad and 2 brothers.
It's a small family. Would you agree that that's
Yeah, I think-
for those times?
Yeah, so my mum had 7 brothers and sisters, so there was 8 of them, which is quite a large family, which wasn't unusual back then. But no, I think by the time you got to the sort of 60s, smaller families were starting to, contraception had been invented, if it hadn't already. But people were, obviously it was getting more expensive, and smaller, 2, 3 or 4 was probably average. Now and again, if there was a 7 or an 8, it was unusual. 8 kids.
Well, hey, I've got to stop you there because I didn't ask you earlier. Are you religious? Were your family religious? Were they Catholic? Were they Protestant?
We're Protestant.
Protestant?
Yeah. Well, we were sent to church every Sunday. I was in the Boys Brigade, which some people watching this might know. The Boys Brigade is a bit like the Scouts. It was.
Was it fraught with danger like the Scouts?
No. The Protestants weren't. We weren't.
Oh, it's the Catholics that there were problems, weren't they?
Yeah, they had their issues. But no, the Boys Brigade was a church-based organisation, but it was sort of taught to give you values, things like working hard, being honest, being loyal, being, and it had a church-based background, so God was part of it, and so you were brought up with that. I think it did me a lot of good. I'm proud and happy to have been brought up like that. But no, nowadays I'm not religious even slightly. No.
Were your parents still? Did they continue on with their beliefs?
Yeah, my mum did. My dad was kind of nah.
Yeah.
So mum would go to church on a Sunday morning, but dad wouldn't. Nah. But it was a good upbringing to have. It taught you a lot of your values, if you like. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as you say, it puts a good foundation down.
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of people, whether they stick with religion or not, it's about that community, it's about that foundation, it's about those values and morals.
I think so, yeah.
Which is good for any human being.
Yeah, correct. Aye.
So two brothers, two siblings.
I've got two older brothers.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Did they beat the shit out of you?
Nah, I was always bigger than them, so no,
were you from a different father? Were you?
Yeah, well, who knows? Well, you just don't know nowadays, do you? But we'll have to talk to my mum about that. No, well, she's no longer with us. So my two brothers, my eldest brother, Colin, he lives in England now. And I've got a middle brother, Alan. He's back in Glasgow. And typical family, you know, just three brothers knocking the shit out of each other. But I'm particularly close to my eldest brother, Colin. He's a good guy.
You say he's in England. You catch up with him.
Yeah, when I go back,
basis?
I'll catch up with him.
Yeah.
Nowadays with chat, we can chat all the time and we FaceTime. He just became a granddad about a year ago now, and so we've got that in common, and we enjoy. We just talk, 2, 3, 4 times a year, and do the odd FaceTime, and yeah. But when I go back this year. He's going to come up to Glasgow for the weekend, and we'll go for a few quiet beers. No doubt.
As you do.
As you do, aye.
As you do. What's your beer of choice?
In Scotland?
Yeah.
Tennant's Lager is the...
Tennant's Lager.
Aye. So you can get it at room temperature, or you can get it chilled.
What do you prefer?
Well, chilled. I mean, I'm an
of
Aussie
course.
now, aren't I?
Yeah.
But Tennant's Lager's good. McEwen's Lager's nice. And of course, a Guinness is always enjoyable as well.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Gotta love it. So you got the mate shirt on. We should give mates a shout out.
Well, we should. Well, we met each other in mates, didn't we?
Yeah, well, see, that's the beauty, because we talked about earlier about how we get guests for the podcast. I've always said that's the hardest thing. But most of the guests that we've had has been done organically. And as you say, we met at mates through some other friends, some common friends. But yeah, mates is just a great place to go. So we'll give them a plug out for sure. They're on the main road there at Mordialloc. They've got a great team.
Yeah.
They're always really helpful. They've got great taps. Guinness on tap. They're always changing their taps. Wine selection is insane, and they've got fridges full of beer.
I think they support a lot of local brewers as well. So I mean, I drink the Guinness because that's just my thing. But there's loads of craft beers, loads of local independent brewers that they support,
and the sports teams as well too. So
yeah,
because you're in football, aren't you? You're involved in.
Not anymore. Football's my passion, as in soccer. That's my passion. But I'm not involved with any particular team anymore. But yeah, it's still my number one passion in life, and I could talk about that all day, but I'd bore your viewers.
Yeah, well, maybe that's another podcast just for them.
Boring.
The thing is that you would be talking, I just have a blank look on my face because I just, as I said, although I grew up playing soccer, playing football, it's a religion. It's part of your DNA.
Well, New Zealand's going to the World Cup this year.
That's brilliant.
And so's Australia, and so's Scotland.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be there as well. So
where is it?
Well, it's in 3 countries: Mexico, the US, and Canada. I'm going to the US in June, and I'm going to see Scotland play in Boston.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, that's before we then sort of travel onwards to Ireland and then Scotland. Snakey's going to catch up with us in Dublin, him and his wife, Michelle.
So this is next year, 2027.
No, 26.
No, this year.
Yeah.
When is it? October? Is it
June.
October?
June and July.
Oh, that's the trip you were just talking about.
Yeah.
Obviously, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, you left out the important part of that's the most important part of that trip, isn't it? Going to Boston to watch the.
Yeah. So it's going to be exciting. So myself and my wife Helen, we're going to San Francisco 5 nights, Boston 5 nights, New York 5 nights, and then we fly over to Dublin where we catch up with Snakey and Michelle, and we're going to have 8 nights in Ireland and then 8 nights in Scotland.
And that's unbelievable.
And then we're going to Turkey as well, aren't we, Snakey?
Going to where?
Turkey.
Oh, Turkey.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to get a hair transplant?
Well, yeah, no, I'm going to get my teeth whitened. Maybe.
How's your hairline? so,
Snakey could use
Snakey's
Snakey's a very handsome man.
He's probably got a cheeky little appointment with a hair transplant place.
He may well do.
Get your teeth done, do while you're there.
I might get my hair dyed. I think I'm going to go black, jet black.
Oh no, you'd look fucking ridiculous.
I know I would.
You know how when people our age dye their hair,
Yeah, I know.
and it just looks fucking crazy. You know, who are you trying to impress?
I don't know. What about guys that wear wigs? But that's a whole.
That's that's
that's
completely
fun.
different. It's that's another podcast. It's a completely fucking different laneway. But luckily we don't need to bother about that. Me or you, we're good. We're good.
We're going okay.
We're good. Hey, I forgot to mention. Chuck Norris died today.
Yeah.
Yeah, sad news. Sad. I know Snakey's a big Chuck Norris
fan.
fan.
You need to get Snakey in to talk about Chuck Norris. Obviously, I'm well aware of who he was, and of course, he was a tough bastard, wasn't he? Tough guy. By all accounts, he was a good guy. I was reading about him this morning as well. And, he seems like he might have been one of Hollywood's sort of good guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
86 is pretty good innings.
Yeah, 86. I'll take that.
Yeah. Time waits for no man unless that man is Chuck Norris. So, Valet Chuck Norris, I'm sure you had a great career and a great life, and you'll be sadly missed, mate. But I'm sure the memes and that will continue on.
They'll continue.
The memes and the jokes. He's got whole pages dedicated to jokes about Chuck Norris, and they're all good. So, Valet Chuck Norris. Hey, going back to your childhood again. So we're going back. We're trying to draw out a few memories.
Okay.
Do you remember some good times, some bad times about growing up? As you say, you had a pretty normal. You said it was a pretty normal upbringing.
Yeah. No, I was lucky. I was very lucky. I grew up in a kind of nice part of Glasgow, if you like. I wasn't. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I grew up in poverty or any of that. And there was a lot of that around. I grew up in a village called Bishopbriggs, which is just north of the city centre of Glasgow. It's funny, but one of my big memories is of that time was, right, so it was always dark. So it was dark when you went to school, and then it was dark when you came home from school, because you only get like 6 hours of daylight during the winter, And I can remember walking to school in the dark. So at the first year or so, your mum would walk you to school, and I had to walk maybe a mile, so maybe, I don't know, a couple of kilometres, thereabouts.
What are we talking, 5 years old?
Yeah.
At the start, that early, that young.
So your mum would walk you to school for the first term of your first year, and then you were on your own. Right, so it was dark. But there was also a coal strike on in Britain, those of you who are watching this who maybe grew up in the 70s. So there was no lights, so it was dark. And we all had to wear fluorescent armbands and coats and stuff because for safety.
Yeah.
And you'd be walking in the dark, it would be raining, it'd be cold, and you were walking through these streets for maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes. It seemed a lot longer then. When I go back now, it doesn't seem quite so far. But yeah, so that's one of my big memories. It was dark all the time. You'd go to school in the dark, and you'd go home in the dark, and it would be wet and be cold.
No snow? Did you guys get snow or not?
Yeah. During winter, you got a lot of snow. Yeah, I can remember walking through the streets, and every just trembling because my feet were so wet and cold. My hands were wet and cold. Yeah, it was kind of mad. But that's the bad side of my memories of growing up. That was crazy. But no, loads and loads of good memories as well. I was lucky, and just having two good parents that stuck together. Family, friends, uncles and aunties, cousins. Yeah, I was lucky in that respect. Yeah, so I don't in any way look back at my time back in Scotland and hate it. I still love the place. I love going back, and yeah, nothing but good memories, really. Yeah.
So what do you miss about Scotland? Sitting here now, do you miss anything?
So if you asked me that question 35 years ago, I would say I miss the football. I miss my mates. I miss, obviously, your family. But now I don't necessarily miss anything. I still keep in touch. I've got loads and loads of good mates back there, and we still keep in touch. Nowadays with chat groups, we can do all of that. It's a lot easier, isn't it? Whereas years ago, you if you wanted to watch a game of football, you had to watch it maybe about 2 weeks after it occurred on a videotape. People used to send us out videos.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we used to drink in a pub up in Windsor, up in near Paran. And every Monday evening there would be videos of the football games that had occurred 2 weeks ago. So it was just an excuse for us all to get together on a Monday evening, have a few beers and watch football.
Perfect.
Yeah. But that's back in the 80s. So nowadays you watch it live on your phone.
Of course, you've got so much choice, haven't you? You got everything at your fingertips.
So you don't miss too much anymore because everything is almost instant. You can you keep in touch with your mates and your family instantly. You can watch sports instantly, and of course with TV you can watch all the if you want that sort of interaction with Scotland, you can watch it all.
Of course,
yeah, all the latest TV shows and stuff as well.
So, do you remember the point where you made the decision to leave Scotland, and what led up to that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, very much. Now, it was almost on the... So, before I left Scotland, I actually spent a year living in Spain, right? So I was about 22. I'd lost my job. You come out of your apprenticeship.
What was your apprenticeship?
In the printing industry. I'm a compositor, which is a type... Nowadays, you would be a graphic designer or typesetter. That was my... I know you're from the sign industry, so we've got probably common knowledge there. Yeah, so I worked in the printing industry for as a 16-year-old, straight out of school, apprenticeship. So that was good, but I got to the age of 21, 22. My apprenticeship finished, and then you'd get laid off. And a mate of mine was going back to Spain. He'd done a year in Spain to work the pubs. So I said, all right, I'll come with you. And off I went to Spain for a year. A little place, seaside village called Calella, which is north of Barcelona. And I worked in the pubs for the best part of a year. Great fun. Just crazy times. You're only young. You're working in the pubs. Loads of holiday makers, so British holiday makers would come over. I wore a kilt every night because it was a Scottish pub, and you entertained the tourists, and you obviously had to work hard serving them beers and cleaning the pub afterwards and stuff. So that was a great experience. Went back to Scotland, spent another year back in Scotland, and one night myself and my mate Eddie were sitting in a pub, right, in Glasgow, in Tuckey Hall Street in Glasgow, and he says to me, "Chappy, do you fancy going to Australia?" And I said, "Aye, why not?" He said, I heard there's lots of beautiful blonde birds over there, and I said, aye.
Particularly blondes.
Well, Aussie's famous for sort of blonde birds. Yeah. When you get here, there's not all that many blonde birds, is there? But,
well, they're all dyeing their hair.
Oh, yeah. So there's loads of dyed blonde birds, but nah. So we were just like, oh, no, you know what? I could use a change, fancy Australia. And on a whim, I said, aye, yeah, let's do it. So we hatched a plan that night, and we said, right, from now on we're saving. We're going to just save. In those days you had to write a letter to the Australian embassy or consulate, whatever, which was in Edinburgh. applying for a visa, and then you got the visa, and then you were saving all year to get, and that was it. And then that was maybe in the January we started hatching the plan, and by the September we were off.
Pretty quick.
Yeah.
So the visa.
Yeah.
Was it a working visa or was it a residency? What sort of visa was it?
No, it was a working holiday.
Working holiday, which is pretty much what they've got these days.
Yeah. So I for some reason I only got a 12-month working holiday visa. Eddie got a 2-year working holiday visa. I don't know why that happened, but it did. So so over we came, and just I never looked back. I can remember the first weekend we were in Sydney at that time, and we're living in Bondi, and we're down Bondi Beach, and it's a Sunday afternoon, and we're having a Sunday session, and we've already met a few people. We're getting to know a few people around, and there was just chicks walking around in bikinis, and we're thinking, the sun's shining. We're going, oh, how good's this?
20-something degrees.
Yeah. And we're only like 22, 23 years old, and we're young and single, and we're going, oh my goodness, this is all right. Yeah. So and you know what? It's been a lot of fun ever since then.
That's brilliant.
And Eddie's still one of my best mates. He still lives up in Sydney, but we catch up, once or twice a year.
So how did you land down here in Melbourne? Was that a conscious effort, or is?
Yes, I was working. So once again, Eddie's name comes up. He was down here playing soccer, and he said, "Oh, it's great down here. Melbourne's really good. We've met loads of people. Come down and give it a crack." And so that's what I did. I came down, and we were all playing for a team here in Melbourne called South Yarra Soccer Club. And that was just great fun, really good fun. And then quickly you settle into working, getting to know people. And yeah, I've never looked back. I always think Melbourne's, it's home now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I've been here for the best part of 40 years.
Wow, 40 years.
Aye.
Let's take a break. This podcast is brought to you by Holy Shirt Australia. Holy Shirt Australia are 100% online. They're Australia's largest no minimum custom print and embroidery company. All their services are completed in-house, and they can deliver all orders promptly and professionally. They like to keep it simple and straightforward, so they offer cool stuff that can be custom printed or embroidered to your liking. They have an easy-to-use online designer to build your custom apparel from the comfort of your home or office. They offer pricing that reflects your individual order, and remember, they are no minimum on all their products. They deliver what the customer expects when they expect it. They've got over 1,500 products ready for you to custom print or embroider today, right now. So head to holyshirt.com.au for all your custom clothing requirements. All right, we're back. That was a good fun. Let's start again.
You fucked that right up, didn't you? Yeah, you did.
We're back.
Yes.
That was a good first half.
Thank you.
It just flies, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It's just like having a conversation with a friend.
Yeah. With a drink.
Over a drink, that always helps.
And I've got another one for you here, mate. That's a nice little frothy fucking Guinness for you.
Bloody beauty.
A creamy fucking pint, as they say.
Thank you. Cheers.
Now, well, you've said in the correspondence that you've got a surefire way to split the G. Now, we've done the splitting of the G previously on the podcast.
Yep.
Just to reiterate, you want to have your first drink of the Guinness, and you want to drink it down to the sans serif on the G.
You do.
Yeah, and we all know what a sans serif is because of our industries.
We do.
So what's the secret, big fella?
Well,
because I'm really fucking intrigued.
So the first thing I'm going to correct you upon, all right, I told you I was a compositor by trade. So nowadays you'd call it a graphic designer.
Yes.
So the Guinness logo, that's not a sans serif, that's a serif. The the middle of the G there.
Did I fuck that up the last time? Did I?
Yeah,
Did I say it
you
was
said
a
it's a sans serif.
Where it's a serif. Of course, it's a serif font because that's what the little feet are.
That's what the little...
Well, thank you for pointing that out. You know I'm going to have to go back and edit that video now.
I bet you don't, right? I wouldn't bother. But no,
That made me look like a fucking idiot.
Why is it a sans serif? Because sans is the French word for without. So without a serif. So sans serif.
There you go. Now,
Without a
I
serif.
did not know that.
Yeah.
I did. Thank you very much for
Yeah, well, that's my typography. I knew I remembered something. I don't remember fucking much about it, but I remember that.
Right. Thank
Yes.
you for clearing that up.
Okay.
I really appreciate
Good.
that.
All right.
And I still feel like a fucking twat. But anyway, now so
Okay.
how are we going to split the G, mate? How are we
All
going to
right.
do it?
Well, okay, so this is my theory, and I'm going to tell you it, and then I'm probably not going to do it, but I'm going to give it a crack. So I think everyone, when they try and split the G, they go big, long, fucking gulp, right? Thinking that's the way to do it. But of course, most people, myself included, can't take great big long gulps because you can only absorb so much fluid. Absorb being the wrong word, but
Ingest.
yeah, indeed. So I think my secret, and I do it with my mates, and we always do it on the first beer of the day, the first Guinness of the day. Right, let's see who can split the G. It's 7 small gulps.
Wow, 7.
7 small gulps, so don't try and sink them all at once. Just go gulp, gulp, gulp. 7 of those babies, and I'll usually just about hit the mark.
Well, the floor is yours, sunshine.
I know, but now I'm gonna under pressure. I'm gonna probably fail here, but now let's think positively.
Bottoms up, mate.
I'm gonna nail this.
What do they say? What's the cheers in Scotland?
Up your kilt.
Up your kilt.
There you go.
There you go,
Cheers.
sunshine.
Okay,
Here we go. Big gulps. 6, 7.
Nah, I've overshot the mark.
He fucking blew it.
I've overdone it.
You're too thirsty, mate.
Well, I've gotten a bit excited, haven't I? That's not the first time I've overshot the mark.
So my theory is four. My theory is 4 gulps.
4.
Now I think I said that on the previous one. It's 4 controlled, measured gulps.
Yep.
Obviously.
Yep.
Do you think I can do it?
I reckon.
You want to put a wee wager on it?
Well, you're going to beat me because I've just been greedy.
You've made a pig of yourself, haven't you?
I have, but that's not the first time.
Up your kilt.
Up your kilt.
Here we go. 4.
Yeah, cheers. You've overdone it as well.
Fuck me.
But you've done better than I have. But
We did. We just made a pig of ourselves.
well, we did. But well, why not?
It was fun though, wasn't it?
Well, it was. But yeah,
it's so tasty.
we're
Isn't
not we're not going to make it onto any Guinness adverts, are we? Yeah.
No.
Nah.
Not at all. You know, I can edit that, and we can put in perfectly placed glasses that have it on the G.
Nah, fuck that. We need.
Too much hard work, to be quite honest.
Nah, you don't want that. No, it's better off if we just made a pig of ourselves on a podcast. Why not?
We talked about Scotland
Yep.
pretty heavily in the first part.
Yes.
I didn't know that you guys had a version of Friends in Scotland. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Well, check this out.
Oh, right.
Ross, I can't believe you pumped my sister, you fucking prick.
You rode a fucking break, you cow. Calm your tits.
I've got a fucking smelly arse.
How you doing, doll? Want to see my Rangers bed sheets? I washed them last week.
I'm a Tim. Away and bile your heat, you plant pot.
I had no idea what she just did there.
Oh, Wayne Bell, your heath.
Basically, I spent all day cleaning the house. I even threw away all your old trainers and joggies with the holes in them.
It's actually hilarious how much of a fucking annoying cow you are.
So the cunt chucked to my retro samba. Stop hiding your hash in your shoes.
Don't judge me, you cunts. I'm vegan, so I can't help it. Too many beans, my arse is fucking reeking.
Motherfucking hoops! Fucking shuggle it! Shuggle! 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 I'm a boot to shuggle my boot right up his arse. Shugo! Shugo!
I cannot believe I'm pumping that mental cunt. Oh, yeah. Fucking belter, mate.
Oh, fucking belter, mate.
That was a belter.
Wasn't it?
I've not seen that before. No,
That was perfect.
that's good. The language was terrible.
Yeah, I think we'll beep out some of that stuff. But I mean, isn't the C word pretty? Isn't that part of your vernacular? I mean, not part of your vernacular, but part of the Scottish vernacular.
It is, and it can be like in Australia, of course. We use that word. I've said to you prior to recording that I wasn't going to use it on camera, just not because I don't use it. I do, but no. It's a good descriptive word, isn't it?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I know the females don't like it for whatever reason, but that's entirely up to them. Yeah. It is a really good fucking word.
It is.
And when you use it appropriately, it's perfect.
If you use it appropriately in the right company, it can be a bit of fun.
Yeah, I'm going to use it right now. We're all good cunts, aren't we?
Yeah, well, you seem like a really good cunt. So there we go.
Perfect. Hey, we've got a segment. I don't know if you should be familiar with.
Yep.
You've seen the podcast
Uh-huh.
called Dead or Alive.
Yep.
So we just check out what's going on, and we hope nobody dies. I mean, that's not the point.
Yep.
That's not the point of the exercise, but it's fun watching.
Oh, well, I'm up for a laugh.
What do we got, Mav? What do we got here? Some old geezer taking a rest.
Right beside some gas bottles.
Oh, you're sort of thinking, what's going on? Oh, shit! So you didn't see that coming, did you?
What the fuck happened there? Is that a cow?
I think their lunch just ran away.
Yeah.
Oh, although they're Indian, so they don't eat cows, do they?
Oh, no, well, what?
No.
Well, no, they don't.
No.
What? So what?
Do you want to back that up a bit, man?
Yeah, what happened there?
They just come rolling. Whoa!
Oh.
I think one cow's having to go at the other one and takes the old man out.
Oh, is that what it is?
You know what I love? To play this through. You know what I love about this, man? It's like you see your dad getting bowled over by a couple of cows, and then you just he casually just walks over there. No rush. He's not rushing. No rush. You just pick them all up. Whoa! Here we go. Let's just paint the picture, because for those people that are just listening, we've got some guys hanging out of a car.
We do.
Yeah, and we can see what part of the world they're in, and the music will probably tell them that. But they're going backwards down a road, downhill, and there's 3-4 of them hanging out of the car, out of the window.
Yep.
What do you think's going to happen here?
I don't think it's going to end well. To be
Well,
honest.
let's watch this, Mav.
Fuck's sake. Oh no.
Yep.
Oh.
As predicted,
Fuck. Well, that is a dumb way to die.
isn't it? That's a oh, look. One of the guys, I love that. Just back that up a little bit, Mav. This guy just pops out of the dust. He goes, "Oh, what the fuck just happened there?" There he goes. Look at him. It looks like everybody gets out alive.
Fucking hell.
That's insane.
Yeah. That's a pretty dumb way to die for sure, isn't it?
It is. What else we got, man? Oh, stop that there. Stop that right there. So I've watched this video several times because I was convinced that it was AI. But let's paint a picture. We've got two guys standing on a tall, what would you call that? Just a tree with some limbs chopped off. They're 10 feet, 20 feet in the air.
Yeah.
They've got their AK-47s. They're shooting up in the sky.
As you do.
Who do you think they're shooting at? Who are they pissed off with?
I just think they're pissed off at life.
They're pissed off with life, God.
Yeah.
If I tell you what, if they're aiming at God, God's not going to fucking like this. Let's see what happens here, Mav. See? There you go.
Fuck.
Don't fucking shoot at God.
Nah, that's got to be AI, is it not?
Well, I don't think it is, man. I honestly don't. Let's have another look at that, man. Right the way. I don't think it is.
Shit. Oh, man.
Wow.
Well,
They didn't fucking see that coming, did
the
they?
segment's called Dead or Alive. I reckon they're pretty
They're fucking dead. Yeah,
for
they're
sure.
dead as a fucking dodo. All right, hey, just a question for you. You ever been around guns? You been involved in guns? Do you shoot guns? Have you ever shot guns?
I've never shot a gun in my life.
Yeah,
Nah.
it's
No.
that's a good statement to make because
Yeah.
I mean they are needless in society, really, aren't they?
Well, my mate Snakey, who's sitting next door right now having a Japanese whiskey, he could sit and talk to you about guns, and he quite enjoys. Well, he did. Used to enjoy his hunt game. What do you call it, Snakey? Game
Game hunting. Yeah.
Or duck shooting. Yeah.
Oh, you fuck ducks up. If it flies, it must die.
But
We're gonna have to get Snakey. Snakey's sitting in the back. He's going.
Listen,
I need to do a podcast. Snakey's going to be.
Snakey has got an interesting life story, but that's for him to tell his story.
All right.
But he's a good man.
Well, that's good. I hope you're enjoying that whiskey, mate. What have we got here, Mav? We've got some. I wouldn't call him a redneck, would you?
He looks like a redneck.
Ha ha! Oh, so back that up.
What happened there?
That. So he kisses. It's like he's kissing the gun. They don't play no shit. Bang! Right in the head.
So why does it backfire or something?
Oh, it's so the recoil on a shotgun.
Oh,
yeah, he's
that-
holding it with one hand, trying to be in a gang.
Oh,
trying
right,
to,
a
trying to be a
gangster.
gangster.
Yeah.
And it's got straight back in his head. So fucking dickhead.
Well, if I ever do shoot a gun, I'm going to do it one-handed.
You
Yeah, I'll go gangster style. Yeah.
No, not a shotgun. Get a pistol.
Okay.
All right, let's set the scene here. Just pause that for a minute, Mav. We've got bags of I've no idea, flour, maize, whatever.
This
they're
is not going to end well.
No,
is it?
it's not. Well,
No.
you can already
I can already
the,
see it. Yeah.
You can see the setup.
Fuck yeah.
But the basic laws of physics, really, isn't it? I mean, when you think about it,
It's not looking good.
no. Let's play this through, Mav.
How much you pay for the
Oh,
for the
Jesus.
new
Here
guy?
we go.
$20? No, too much money.
Fuck.
It's not.
You imagine how many kilograms have just toppled
Yeah.
over on his head.
That looks like it wouldn't be painful, but I bet you it fucking was.
You remember in the first segment where I said the son took time to pick up his father?
Yeah, yeah.
Check these guys out. As soon as it happens, mate, watch this.
Yeah.
Good, no good operator.
Fuck. They're in there. Oh, Mav, stop. What the hell? What
I think I know her.
what are you doing, mate? You're sabotaging.
Mav,
Sabotaging us.
for fuck's sake.
I didn't know you had a fetish like that, Mav.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't me. Don't try and fucking.
I have no idea what the banana and the whipped cream's all about.
Well, I think I do, but that's Mav. I'm disappointed in you.
Oh shit! Oh my god! I'm gonna have nightmares, man. Play that through, buddy. Play that through. Oh, yep. There you go. There's a handle on Insta if you want to pick it up. Oh, all right. Let's set this because this is another one. See, the thing is, and I've explained this a couple of times.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, there's a lot of research that goes into this segment.
I can see that. Yeah.
I've got to sit on the toilet for hours
Yeah.
looking through, and my algorithm's
Shit.
completely fucked because
Yeah,
of this.
It would be.
So it's hard to tell what's AI and what's not.
Yep.
Now, this one here. So let's paint the scene. There's a truck over some train lines.
Yep.
There's a whole lot of people that they look Indian, but Pakistan, whatever.
Yep.
And there's obviously a train coming. So let's play this through, Mav. So there's a lot of people just standing round, very close to the truck.
Oh,
and
for
then
fuck's sake. What?
and then what's going to happen? Back that up, man. Back that up. Back to the previous segment. So, would you be standing if?
I no, I wouldn't. No, personally, I wouldn't be standing just beside the train.
That's
track.
why. That's what miffs me. It's like it's not AI. It's definitely not AI. But they're just standing around, very nonchalant,
All right.
going, "Oh, what's going to happen here?" And of course, play that through, man. We all know what fucking happens. It ends in tears,
It's going to end in tears.
isn't it?
Wow. Bang. Oh,
It doesn't even look like. Didn't even look like the train was slowing down, did it?
it looked like it was speeding up. And that
It probably saw the people.
that's why the Victorian government is spending hundreds of billions of dollars removing all of our level crossings.
Yeah, and they're doing a good job.
They're doing a great job.
Yeah, a lot of taxpayers' money
It's
going.
costing slightly more than it should, I'd imagine.
We had a conversation today about the amount of workers standing around doing nothing, looking on their phones.
Down at Morty Alec,
Yeah.
But we said we wouldn't talk about politics,
No.
so let's not go there.
No,
Yeah.
fuck it. What do we got now, Mav? Okay, so we've got a bit of a theme here. We've got a truck over the railway lines. And so, once again, if you observe this driver, he obviously knows what he's done. He's stuck on the tracks.
Right.
All right, just watch him. He's just casually walking away. He's on his phone. He's not running.
Fucking run.
He's not fucking running.
Bang.
He's just walking away.
Oh.
And so you look at the cab. You look at the cab
Yeah.
going to the truck. He would have been fucking mincemeat.
Jeez.
Absolutely fucking mincemeat.
Is that in the States? It looks like it might
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
But obviously it wasn't his truck. Didn't give a fuck. Anyway.
Yeah.
What do we got next, Matt? Oh, is that it? Is that it? What do we got? What do we got? Oh, stop there. I forgot I put this one in.
Dark web.
So anybody listening, we've got a guy with his ear up against a timber frame, and his mate's got a 9-inch nail with a washer on it, and he's hammering his ear to the timber rail. Just
okay.
Yeah.
So why is he doing that?
Well, why? We'll never know, mate.
Right.
But
okay.
It makes for good viewing anyway.
Okay.
Just watch and
let's
listen.
see what happens. For fuck's. Oh. Ow. Okay.
Yeah. He goes, oh, you can stop now.
Sneaky, you and I should try that later on tonight, okay?
I thought maybe they're just trying to pierce his ear, but no, they're nailing that fucker there. He wasn't going anywhere. Oh, maybe it was a stag do. That's the sort of crazy
well,
shit
I mean,
that you do.
me and Snaky, we've enjoyed a few stag do's, haven't we, Snaky? But we've never done that, and we never will.
Hey, talking about stag do's.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what's the prefix of the stag? Let me start again. Talking about stag do's.
Yeah.
Why do you have a stag do? Because you're going to get married.
Correct. And that's a great segue.
That was perfect, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't very smooth though, was it?
I thought it was. We can do it again.
Nah, fuck
we
it.
can do it again.
Nah, I think
you've got an amazing story because you've come over here to the land of the free and the brave.
Yep.
And great sunshine, snakes, and anything else that can fucking kill you.
Yep. Spiders.
And you've worked hard. You pay your taxes.
Yep.
And then at some point you go, my life's just not fulfilling enough. What can I do to make it more fulfilling? And what did you do?
Well, yeah. So I became a celebrant, a civil celebrant.
So
yes.
for those uneducated,
yep.
That's somebody that marries people.
Yeah.
You're the guy that stands up there and says,
I
will get the ring out.
Yep. And I conduct weddings. I'm a civil celebrant. I'm not a religious celebrant. I conduct weddings, but I also conduct funerals. So yeah, two totally different types of celebrations. Of course they are, but it's an enjoyable. It's something I really enjoy, and it's something I came to late in life.
I was going to say, what made you go down that path, and how old were you when you did it?
Yeah. So look, I spent pretty much my whole career, 30 odd years in the printing. Well, I was 40 odd years in the print industry, but the last 30 of those were in sales. So I am a salesman.
You're currently still a salesman for a printing company, is that correct?
No, I'm not. No. I lost my job during. We said we wouldn't talk about COVID, so I'll mention it once. I lost my job during COVID, in 2021. My career at sales, like the whole world, shut down. Sales plummeted, and when you're a salesman, you live and die by your numbers.
Of course.
I was very lucky, very fortunate that I had good numbers my whole career. But as I was getting older and it was starting to tail down a touch, and the pressure was starting to happen, and of course you've got all these new young people come into the industry and who are more energetic, who are more in tune with the way the industry changed so much. And of course, I'm from the old school, the old print school. But digital technology, as you would know well, has changed the world massively. And of course, I try and keep up and try and sell all the new technology, all the new. However, long story short, my career was sort of that part of my career was on a slow decline. COVID hit, and that kind of killed it. That was it, and I lost my job. But however, I'm not daft, so I could see this happening. I couldn't see COVID happening, but I could see my career was taking a bit of a nosedive, slowly, and I reinvented myself. So I have a friend who was a client of mine actually. She's a celebrant, and she also teaches celebrancy. And she used to we'd catch up for coffees every once a month or so, and she would always say to me, Dave, you'd be great, because I am an outgoing guy. I'm a pretty funny sort of a guy, and I like people and I like talking shit. So, so she said to me, Dave, you'd be great. And for a few years I kind of went, yeah, nah, as Australians say that. Yeah, nah. But then, however, I talked to my wife and I talked to my two daughters. Ali, I'd say hello to Ali and Kelly, my two girls.
Right there.
Yeah. All right, girls. My wife, Helen, she's a great girl. My two daughters. And I'd kind of would talk about this, and I'd say, oh, yeah, I'd like to kind of do it. And they would say, Dad, do it. You should do it. You'd be good, and da-da-da. So, long story short, eventually I said, right, let's do this. And so I enrolled, studied for roughly about a year. And it was
that long?
Yeah.
Full-time, part-time?
No, part-time. Yeah, but it's much more complex than you would think, because there's a lot of legal aspects to it. And so if you're not from a legal background, you've got to learn all that stuff. And there's obviously a lot of legal requirements in order to be able to do it. So it's more complex than you would think. The sort of standing up and talking to people and public speaking sort of came naturally to me, but all the other side of it. And of course, this was all done during lockdown, so you were doing a lot of classes online. And that's why it probably took a bit longer than it should have done. But yeah, eventually we got there, and it's now become a little side hustle that I've got that I do on weekends. Funerals you can do any day of the week, of course, but weddings tend to be on weekends, and I really enjoy them. Yeah. Good.
So, COVID 2021.
Yep.
That's when you signed up.
Yep. Took
you a year.
Yep.
Before you did your first.
Yep.
My first official gig.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Obviously, you would remember that.
Yeah.
Very fondly.
Well, my first official gig was while I was still studying, right? So I think it was 21. And it was a funeral, believe it or not. And it was one of my good mates just dropped dead, 56.
So
Yeah.
the difference between marriage and funerals is that the marriage has got the legality, the legal side of it that you've got to dot your I's, cross your T's.
Yep.
Funerals are more of a, as you say, a speaking
correct.
gig.
You don't.
There's no official.
Nah, that's correct. You don't even have to be a qualified celebrant to conduct a funeral. Anyone can stand up and conduct a funeral. So my mate of mine, Davy McKeever, was sitting in his van one day and he had a heart attack and died, which blew us all me and my friendship group, blew us all away. And wow. And so I
How old was he?
I think he was 56.
Fuck, that is young.
Yeah.
Was he overweight, smoked?
No. In fact, Davy was slim. Didn't have any weight on him at all. But yeah, he smoked, and he drank. He was a funny boy. Anyway, that happened, and I approached his partner. They weren't married. His wife. They had 2 grown-up girls, and I said, look, I'd love to conduct Davy's funeral. Of course, there'll be no fee for that, and I'd like to do that as my way of helping you guys in a tough moment, and I can bring something personal to the ceremony rather than just a complete stranger. She said, "Oh yeah, Chappy, that'd be great." So I managed to enrol 4 or 5 of our other friends, my wife included, and other friends, to do different speaking, eulogies and a couple of poems and even a religious reading for Davy. He was an Irish Catholic boy, and we gave him a brilliant send off, And so at that point I hadn't qualified, but it gave me the confidence to know that I was on the right track to in what I was doing, So it's that was you talk about a baptism of fire. I'm standing up here down at Springvale Cemetery, one of the biggest chapels in Springvale Cemetery, and I've got maybe 300 or 400 people looking at me, and I'm standing there shitting my pants.
I was going to say, were you nervous?
Yeah, I was nervous. Yeah.
Did you ever?
I'd be lying.
Hallucina?
I'd be lying if I said that I didn't have a glass of red just beforehand. But So, but do you know what? Afterwards, and you feel the relief, and you've got people congratulating you and just saying, that was really good, and you kind of get a lot of satisfaction out of that. So it was crazy, and it was mad. And of course, it's a mate of mine, and who I've known almost since the day I arrived in Australia. We played a lot of soccer together, and he was a funny boy.
Was it hard not to get emotional?
I think at one point I probably did.
Which is completely natural.
Yeah, because it's a mate.
Yeah.
However, I've done a lot of funerals and never once got emotional because it's not someone that I knew.
Exactly, because you don't have that personal connection.
Yeah.
Personal. So you did a funeral first up, as you say, baptism of fire.
Yep.
First wedding. So the process of going through getting qualified as a celebrant.
Yep.
You do a ceremony, you get a certificate.
Yep.
You're anointed as such.
I think anointed might be a bit of a strong. But
I'll
take
that.
it. Yeah, I'll go.
We'll run with
it.
that. Do you remember that? Do you remember the feeling of the satisfaction of going, I've achieved this?
Yeah.
And then maybe the thought of like, the shit's getting real now. Like this is this because it wasn't about the money for you, was it?
No. I need. So we all do. We all need to make a quid. Of course we do.
Yeah.
But this was about just about trying something different and just trying to push myself.
Yeah.
Especially as you get older. I knew that as I said earlier, my sales career had sort of, and I kind of was over it anyway. If I'm very honest. I was ready to do something different. So, and this is what I chose,
So were you re-employed as well as having the celebrant services, or have you've just semi-retired, gone into the celebrant services? No.
So my other career change at the age of 58, I think I was, during the C word that we won't mention again.
Yeah.
I had lost my job and I needed to do something because I've got bills to pay and I've got beers to buy. But
it's the most important.
Exactly. So my wife is a nurse and she said to me, Dave, they're looking for people up at the Alfred Hospital to stand on the doors during the C word, during that lockdown period, and just to vet people as they come in and out the hospital. We had to stand there and talk to them, make sure they didn't have any flu-like symptoms. We did all of that and give them masks. And of course, people didn't like that because, a lot of people were angry during that period, weren't they?
Oh, it was a shit time.
It was a shit time.
Exactly. So, and if you had to go through that experience of actually going to a hospital within that time, it was even fucking worse. Because you think about that hospitals are shitty at the best of times. Yeah. Nobody likes being there. Nobody likes having to go there, and it's sometimes it's the darkest days in people's lives.
Correct.
And it's not a fucking really nice. It's not. Although they try to make it as comfortable as it possible. Yeah. But if you're in hospital, you're having a shit day.
Yeah.
Or somebody's having a shit day.
Yeah. Someone you love's probably having a shit day.
Yeah. Exactly.
So from that, I was there up at the Alfred for about a year and a half during those dark days, and that's what I did to make a living. I then transferred to a different hospital, a local Bayside hospital, which some of you watching or listening to this will know where I'm talking about. I don't want to name it, but I now work there, and I've been there for 3 years I'm a security guard, and I'm also a porter. So I have this brilliant job where I move patients around the hospital. And if you see me, I'm wearing a stab vest and I'm in security gear. But my job's to just move patients around the hospital. 90% of them want to chat with you because...
I was going to say, you'd have some awesome conversations, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you have it, and obviously I've got this accent, and that always sparks up some conversations. And you just chat away, and you make them feel comfortable, and, they're having a bad time for whatever reason they're in there. And if you can make them laugh or give them a bit of, a bit of fun, or that's part of it. And you're on the move all day, so you're actually moving all day. So 8 hours of walking, basically. I do anywhere up to 20,000 steps every shift, and then you meet loads of people. So it's good for your mental health. It's good for your physical health as well. Yeah, it's good.
Well, knowing what I know, I mean, this is all very fresh between us. I can see how you would be the perfect candidate to do exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, cheers.
You've got the personality for it. As you say, it's about making connections. These patients, and in most cases, they're there and they're alone. They don't have, if they have family, they're out in the waiting room, and sometimes the hospitals don't allow them. So there's all this period within those halls where they're by themselves, and I'm sure you make their day and do exactly what,
Look, and a big part of it is realising some people are really sick and do not, the last thing they want is a conversation. So you've got to read the room.
Well, it's like a taxi driver, isn't it? So as you say, read the fucking room, mate. Read the room.
And just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And just take them to where they've got to go and move on to the next job. However, you can also tell the opposite of that when people are ready for a chat and a bit of fun, So
good on you, man. That sounds fucking amazing.
Yeah, so that's kind of that was my career change that happened to me in my late 50s, and do you know what? Now that I'm taking things a bit easier, I only work a few days a week, and it's good. Life's good.
Can you see in yourself personally? Excuse me. Can you see in yourself personally? There's been a shift in your mental health.
Yeah. So right. So this is where I'll get real honest with you. During the lockdown period, so if you can imagine me, I'm a salesman, sales rep, and had a really good career, did well, always out and about, driving around the city, meeting loads of people, making good figures, doing well, and then you kind of start to watch this all sort of going downhill. The lockdowns start. I've got to work from my kitchen bench at home, right? So I'm a naturally outgoing person who enjoys meeting people, right? That's just the way I am. And all of a sudden I've got to sit at my kitchen bench for 8 hours a day trying to make numbers, trying to make sales. No one's printing anything because no one's spending any money, and no one wants print anyway, because who are you going to distribute it to? Everyone's at home, during that dark period. And I'll be very honest with you, my mental health at that point wasn't great. And don't get me wrong, it was never deep and dark or anything, but it was just quite probably the lowest I'd felt. I used to sit there on my computer, on my laptop, and just hate it. And you're not selling anything, and you're doing, every morning you're doing team meetings, and that was depressing because you're looking at all your colleagues, I was trying really hard, and I was making the calls, doing the video chats, doing all of that stuff, and I watched it all sort of, geez, where's this going?
Seems like it was all in vain, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty dark. So I wanted to shout out to my wife, Helen, my two girls, Ali and Kelly. They were amazing. They were brilliant because they knew Dad was, because I'm a bubbly sort of a geezer, and they could see that it was affecting me and that I wasn't enjoying it, and they really sort of stood up and helped me. They were brilliant, and when we were allowed to go out for those daft walks and stuff like that.
Daft walks.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Do you remember that stuff?
Oh, the whole thing was fucking insane. It was absolutely insane.
It was fucked.
Yeah.
So, and remember you had a 5 kilometre radius
Yeah.
Well, I lived just sort of near the beach, so I only had a fucking 2-kilometre radius because you can't walk in the fucking water, can you? So
it goes three extra the other way.
we
It's
used to
fucking
just go
insane.
cycling every day. That was my big thing. Every afternoon I'd just go off my push bike for hours and just to get out the house and try and recalibrate my brain. But then the next morning you wake up and 8 a.m. you're back on your laptop and you haven't, it was a dark sort of a period. So, and I know that you're a big advocate for men's mental health, and I've enjoyed watching your podcast. I sort of I dragged myself through it almost, trying to remain positive. My girls and my wife were amazing. They were brilliant. But yeah, it wasn't easy. But then it wasn't easy for a lot of us, and I know a lot of people watching this or listening to this would have lost businesses and perhaps even lost houses and stuff like that. So yeah, it's important to sort of recognise that as well, I think, also.
Yeah, well, I think to just dismiss it from the ledger is ignorant, because as you say, you had to adapt. You went through a mental exercise scenario where you'd never been in that situation before, and a lot of people hadn't.
No.
Luckily for you, you've got a great support system, wives, children. If we're talking about divorce rates, the divorce rates around COVID were fucking insane.
Yeah.
We've got all these people that have to coexist in one apartment or one house where they've never had to do it for 8 hours, 10 hours a day, and then the people are finding that they hate each other, or they've got to the point where they've understood that what are we doing? It was a lot of external pressure. It was a shitty time, as you say. Do you remember having discussions with your wife about your mental state and about the state of play? Do you remember sitting down and going, I personally, I'm not feeling right, or do we need to work? Is there something that we need to work on to make things better? Do you remember having those conversations?
I think they noticed me. They noticed my normal sort of bubbly, outgoing, funny nature had sort of changed. And they would raise it with me. Daddy, you okay? Yeah, you all right? What's going on? This lockdown thing and is doing my head in. And of course, watching my sales career sort of crumble in front of me, it wasn't a lot of fun. And so I probably wasn't as outgoing or as fun as I usually would be.
But did you communicate? What I'm saying is, did you communicate?
Yeah, we did. We spoke. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And that's why I've just thanked my girls for bringing that out. They kind of saw it, and then they would talk to me about it, and so therefore I would talk about it, and of course that helped. So
is that something that you've always done as a male?
Yeah. So look, I'm a big believer in sort of men supporting men, and not in that masochistic sort of that's the wrong word, isn't it? What's the fucking word we're looking for? Can you edit that out, Mav? Masochistic. What's that word? The manosphere now, that's a big thing, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
right,
the manosphere. That's
so.
Yeah.
I am not a big fan of all that bullshit, right?
No, fuck that.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah.
So I'm anti all that stuff. So I love. Where am I going with this?
I think what you're saying is that you love the support of male friends.
Yeah.
And you cherish those relationships that you have. So the thing is that the one thing that young people don't understand, although they have mates, there's no real need to rely on their mates because there's no real issues or problems that they need to rely on. Like you've got girls, like Mav at whatever age he is now, they're mates, girls going out. I think the point is that as we get older, things get more complex.
Yeah.
And these more complex situations that you're dealing with need to be handled with a little bit more support from male cohorts. You know? And it's not something like the average bloke these days should not have to burden himself and feel like he can fucking just head down, bum up, just plow on through. It doesn't work that way anymore. It doesn't work that way. And of course, the more we talk about mental health and mental stress and mental fitness, I think the older we get, the more we realise that we need to be aware of it, and we need to share some of this burden.
Yeah.
And whether you can do it, you can't always do it with your wife or your partner.
Yeah.
You need a good support crew.
Yeah.
And as I've said previously about having an existence where I cannot talk to somebody for a week, and then I come and do this. This is my therapy.
Yeah.
You know? And then if we're going out having drinks with the mates, that's as well. That's therapy as well too.
Yeah.
But you need that as a male this day and age. And I think what you were saying is that that's always been important to you. And the good thing about it is that you've got like-minded people that have always been around you.
You raised the point there of just male support for each other. And I've had a few mates that have gone through mental health issues, and I've been able to sort of talk to them. Fortunately, they've opened up and we've spoken about it. So I think it's interesting. If you're a young guy watching this now, you'd think, oh, well, that's just what people do. But people my age, I'm about to turn 63, and we did not talk about all that stuff. Men would have bottled that up. They would have kept it to themselves, and they would have hidden it. And we all know the outcomes that can become. But yeah, I've had mates open up to me, and I've been able to talk to them, help them through, give them some advice, help them with getting medical help and that type of thing. So that's important to me. That's something that I'm quite passionate about. And
you should be proud too, because they're coming to you, and they're seeking advice. I think as a human, just regardless of gender, as a human, if somebody comes to you and seeks your advice genuinely because they want help, how satisfying is that?
Yeah. Well, look, at the time it probably doesn't feel satisfying, but looking back on it, it's probably something that I'm probably proud of, and it's nice to have happened, you know. But so, and I think the reason that I feel that way and the reason that I am the way I am is, and I'm going to drop this on you like a bomb, my dad committed suicide.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I know, it's fucked, isn't it? So when I was about, I think I was maybe 29, I was over here in Australia. I get the phone call. I'm like, oh, for fuck. So I didn't even know he felt that way, with no idea.
How old was he?
I think he would have been about my age I am now, so probably maybe 63 or 64.
Still married to your mum?
Yeah. So it was a total head fuck. So back then, so this is maybe 1990, 91, and I didn't have a pot to piss in, if you know what that means. That means I didn't have any money, right? So I ring up my mates and I go, my dad's died, and right, okay, we're all going to go down the pub tomorrow, Chappy. We'll have a drink for your dad, and that's what we did. So we're down the pub having a drink, and little did I know, behind the scenes, all my mates were like, right, we need $100, $50, $100, $200 per person, because Chappy needs to go home. He needs to go home for his dad's funeral. I woke up the next morning, and Helen, who's now my wife, she was my girlfriend back then, she says, Dave, pack your bags because you're going home tomorrow. I says, what are you talking about? We've no money. She said, nah, it's been sorted. The boys have sorted you out, and you're going home.
How good's that?
Yeah. Well, I hate to think how I might have turned out had I not gone home, because had I just stayed in Australia, because I would have had that sort of grief and not processed it properly without my family and all that stuff. So, that was pretty incredible. That was great, and that's what's led me to sort of feeling the way I do now about men's health and mental health, all that sort of stuff, you know. And even being a celebrant. So when you conduct I'll tell you this one. This will blow your socks off. So my dad's funeral, if you can imagine, he's committed suicide. It's rough, and the Protestant minister who stands up and conducts the funeral, he said. So my dad's name was Jimmy. Jimmy's last actions were very selfish. However, he led a great life, and And I remember just absolutely, my head was almost bursting out. I just wanted to stand up and punch this minister. Fucking selfish. I know that's an old cliche, suicide is selfish and all that, isn't it? Right? Anyway, absolutely got me very angry. Anyway, I probably was angry anyway for a number of reasons, you know, as you can imagine, grief and all that stuff. But so now as a funeral celebrant, I stand up there and I really want to celebrate the life of the person that's passed away, even if, and I have never conducted a funeral that was a suicide. If I did, that would be the last thing I'd ever say. It would, you know, I just think it was such a mad thing to say. But I just believe, when I celebrate or conduct a funeral, I really try and celebrate the positivity of a life that's been lived, and you know, and tell the positive side of the person that's passed away, you know. So there you go. So I've dropped a couple of bombs on you, but that's what we're here for.
This is a safe space, mate.
Yeah,
it's a safe space.
No, it's all good.
I do have a personal question for you, because you say about suicide. A lot of people say it is selfish.
Yeah.
Do you hold any resent to your dad for taking his own life? Do you think it was selfish that he did it?
Look, no,
in hindsight?
Well, no, my answer to that would be no, right? However, my mum had to live with that. So I told you earlier, we're from a little village in Glasgow. It's called Bishop Briggs. My mate Snakey, who's through there, he knew my mum. She's now gone as well. But she had to not only deal with the grief, then she had to wander up Bishop Briggs Main Street, where everyone knows you. Everyone knows everyone.
Of course.
And no doubt put up with, or just deal with the fact that people would be looking at you. And my mum was a strong woman. She was a funny woman. But she had to deal with all of that. And she always did it very graciously, with her head held high and with a sense of humour. And but that must have been really tough on my mum.
Did you have a conversation with her about that?
Yeah, we did. Not heaps. It's not like something we dwelled upon but yeah, we did have conversations. She was a funny woman, and she dealt with it, you know, as I say, with a sense of humour, and just kind of got on with it. And she was always perfectly made up, and the hair was always perfect. She was only a wee small woman, but she was a lovely woman. And she fancied Simon, didn't she, Snakey? She used to call Simon Handsome Simon, didn't she?
Oh,
yes.
Is she blind?
Yeah, no, she.
Hey, look, one last question before we move on.
All right.
Did your mum see that coming? Was there any indicators? Was any writing on the wall, or was she completely blindsided?
I think she was blindsided. She never ever said to me. Now, what went on behind closed doors when none of us were there? My dad was a very quiet man anyway, right? So he was a quiet sort of a gentleman. He loved his golf. He was a golfer, but he retired too young, I think, and never had a big massive group of mates. Whereas my mum had loads of girlfriends. It was one of those ones. So he was not an easy man to get to know, but he was my dad, you know, and so obviously I loved him, and he was a good guy, but he was a quiet guy, very different to me. But I've got my oldest brother's a quiet guy as well. So it's funny how same mum and dad, but just maybe I've not got the same dad now that I think about it. but nah, that's just life, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You've been eyeing up my buckfast.
Yeah, but I'm a bit fucking scared of it, to be honest.
Why? Why would that be?
Well,
come on,
in Scotland, buckfast is quite commonly drunk, but that little bottle that you've got there is what in Scotland we would call a quarter bottle of buckfast, right? And that's what you take to a game of football. So you'd go to the pub, you'd have maybe 4 or 5 pints of your favourite lager, whatever. But then you'd buy a bottle of buckfast and stick that in your back pocket, because there's no alcohol allowed in Scottish football grounds.
And it's a probably good reason why,
That's
isn't it?
That's a good reason why, exactly.
Because you're all savages.
But the boys would the boys would slip a little small bottle like that in the back pocket.
Did they have metal detectors and stuff when you're going through the gates, or not?
Nah. You might get patted down if you were unlucky, but yeah, there was just too many people to do that. So.
Well, look, I'm going to bring back some old memories for you.
Yeah. So in Scotland, so this is Buckfast. It looks like a red wine, but it's a fortified. I think
it's fortified wine.
Fortified
exactly.
wine. Yeah. So in Scotland, this is known as Wreck the Hoose juice.
Wreck the Hoose juice.
Yeah.
Well, we have to make a fucking T-shirt with that on, I think.
Wreck
the Hoose juice.
Don't put the Buckfast logo on there.
No.
They won't thank you. But it is Wreck the Hoose juice.
Wreck the Hoose
but,
juice.
Anyway, I'll give it a bit of a nudge.
Cheers, big fella.
Cheers. Yeah.
Here we go again.
Shit,
I think that's all we've done. This podcast is just fucking drink our way through.
It's been a bit like that, isn't it? So when my wife views this on YouTube in a few weeks or whatever, she's not going to thank me for doing this, but because she's got to sleep with me. Well, she doesn't have to, but
is she going to meet you at the pub after this? Is she going to be waiting? It's bloody good, isn't it?
It's good. It's tasty. It's kind of sweet almost, and it's got a hell of a kick in it, and that's why it's known as Wreck the Hoose juice.
Yeah, 15% alcohol and more Red Bull than more caffeine than Red Bull. Yeah. So our previous sponsor, as everybody would have known, Chapel Street Cellars, Joe and Rob. Unfortunately, Chapel Street Cellars isn't open anymore, so we've got to move on to bigger and brighter things.
You do,
but we're never going to forget Buckfast. Never.
I'm probably never going to forget Buckfast.
Well, we did 50 episodes, and we did a cheers every episode.
Oh, did you?
Everybody that came on had to try it. Everybody tried it, and
the amazing Miss Charlie, who I listened to yesterday, I presume you didn't do one with.
No, we did. Actually, we didn't. No. I don't. Maybe she didn't. I obviously would have offered. That was fantastic.
She was very uplifting, wasn't she?
She's amazing. She's absolutely amazing.
A young woman with Down syndrome. But I listened to that yesterday and really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was great.
Thank you very much. Did you like it? Have you liked and subscribed?
Yeah,
yes, good.
I have. I don't even know what that. But I press the button, like and subscribe. I don't even know what it does. Does it get me on your algorithm?
We know you. We know you like us. We know you like. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Now I sent you a few messages after I listened to podcast number 50 with Ivan. It was a couple of hours long, and I pissed myself laughing, and I enjoyed it.
We had so much fun.
Yeah, that he was good value, and you were great as well.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Poor bastard got chucked in the deep end. I don't know if he knew what he was in for.
Oh, really?
But the good thing about it, we had the studio audience, we had all the geezers.
That's right. Yeah.
And that made things a lot more easier.
No, it was fun.
A lot easier. Hey, going back to obviously your new vocation now. What were you thinking? Where was the thought that came? We talked about how this came about during COVID.
Yep.
It was a good friend of yours that suggested it to you,
yep.
and that planted the seed.
It did. Hello to Diane.
Diane.
Yep.
You look straight in the camera.
In the camera.
Thank you,
hey, Diane. Thank you. Yep.
So, looking back on that decision, was it a good decision to make? Are you happy that you did it?
Yeah. No, 100%. So this time last week, I was conducting a wedding in front of, maybe 120 people or so, 130 people, and you stand there and you've got the microphone in front of you, and you're looking out and you've got a young.
Oh, there's some photos up there.
Yeah. Oh, there's me.
Look at you. That's a dapper suit. Have you got a go-to suit?
I've got a few suits.
Of course, because you do the traditional.
I do the
Scottish.
I've got the kilt and the full
Mav,
Highland.
where's the kilt? Where's the kilt one?
Oh,
come on, Mav.
Yeah.
Do you wear undies under your kilt?
Well, I'm not at liberty to. There's me with the kilt on. Yeah, and that was a hot summer's day. But yeah, that's me with a kilt.
You got the bloodstones on there. You got the big boots.
Yeah, I got the boots.
Is that a look? Is that what you're going for?
That's a look. Yeah. Now most Scottish blokes wear the big boots, unless you're wearing formal dress, in which case you might wear formal shoes, black formal shoes. That's me with my mate. So that's my mate Paul Kingsbury, and he married the beautiful Jude, and that's in a hotel room.
I was going to say that's an odd little venue, isn't it?
Yeah, so they just they're obviously both been married before, mature, and they just wanted a little quiet one with family. But then downstairs in the Windsor Hotel in Melbourne, many watching this and listening to this will know the famous Windsor Hotel. And they had a really lovely function afterwards. But the wedding itself was just in a hotel room with
very intimate,
close family.
Yeah, brilliant.
It was great. Yeah.
What else we got, Mav?
Oh.
We're flicking through these before.
Yeah, that's me in the Espy Hotel in St Kilda.
Oh,
with Brett and Kelly.
I can tell by the skirting boards that's Espy.
Can you? You've been.
I've kicked those skirting boards.
Yeah, you've woken up beside those skirting boards.
That's an unusual, an unusual choice of attire for the groom.
It is, isn't it?
What is it? Is that the Wendy's logo on his shirt? It looks like the Wendy's fast food. It looks like Wendy's from the fast food.
No, I think it's just a colourful shirt. Yeah, they were a really nice couple. He was a Pommy guy, and she was Aussie. And he was actually a well-known motoring journalist. Jeremy Clarkson being one of his mates.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he had an interesting backstory. And I think she worked in publicity, PR or something over in the UK. Blah, blah, blah. That's how they met. So
have you got have you fallen into a niche of the type of people that you marry?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. So one, I've married a lot of young couples who I've known since they were kids, 6, 7, 8, 9. In fact, the photograph prior to that one was a young guy, Chris. I don't know if you can go backwards, Mav, can you?
Yeah, Mav can do anything.
Right, so see that
That's
couple,
the one?
right? That couple there. I was at his when the day he was born. That boy, he's a man, obviously now. I was at his wet the head with his dad.
Wow.
So 31, 32 years ago.
So a lot of it's through these family connections, through friends.
Yeah, and my 2 daughters are now at that age where the friends are all getting married. So a lot of them come to me because they know I'm good fun and.
Do you do any active marketing, or is it more word of mouth?
Well, I have a website, so it's for those of you out there who are interested. It's scottishcelebrant.com.au.
We'll put that up on the screen for everybody.
Yeah, cheers. And so...
Actually, Mav, go to the website. I want to see what the website looks like.
Oh,
yeah.
There we go.
Have you got it? scottishcelebrant.com.au.
Yep. And you'll see me in action.
He's furiously typing behind the scenes.
He is, isn't he?
Of course.
He can only go one finger at a time. So.
Oh, no, the kids these days, mate. There, look at.
There he is.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Dave Chaplin, the Scottish celebrant.
That was my first ever wedding.
That one there?
Yeah.
The one on screen?
Yeah. And I was shitting myself.
Oh, I bet you were.
But it all went well and it was good.
Do you remember how you got that first wedding?
So that,
do you remember how you...
Yeah, so that couple are friends of my eldest daughter, Ali. Yeah. So yeah, they all knew I was studying celebrancy, and then, yeah, pretty quickly there were a lot of the young team that are getting married.
How do you rate your performance?
Oh, I'm definitely more professional now than I probably was then.
More professional? Or are you just a little bit nervous?
Yeah, it's just like anything, once you've done it.
We talked about the match fitness, weren't we? Earlier?
Yeah, we were, weren't we?
Yeah.
And so, if you go to the top there, moments, if you go there, click on that. So there's all these different sort of golden moments. I've got a friend that does this for me. I don't type in golden moments. I'd be a wanker if I did. But see if you go down to the third one, down that one there, and click on that one. That's Snakey's daughter.
Hey!
Isn't it, Snakey?
She didn't get a good looks from you, sunshine, did she?
No, well, her mum is a nice looking woman. That's fair to say. But yeah, no, Toby's a lovely girl. I've known her since she was we met each other through primary school.
Shout out to Toby. Hopefully she hasn't got sort of any copyright that we can't show photos of her.
I'm sure she'd be happy. But
Toby, can you please share this on your Instagram, please?
Instagram, yeah.
Yes, of course.
That chap that she's marrying, that's Jack. He's a great guy and a very, very good soccer player. Plays at a good level for Dandy Thunder. Am I right, Snakey? Dandy City. Oh, geez, I'm in trouble.
Dandy City.
So
do you know the numbers? How many have you officiated?
Yeah. So It's about 20, and I have to know the numbers of weddings because you have to document them pretty seriously. I'm up to about 25 weddings and about maybe 30 funerals or so.
Oh, so you're kicking forward on the funerals. So that's
I think that's my demographic. So the funny thing, so you asked about how do people get to me, and one of them is through my children, my girls, because of their friendship groups, you know, and a lot of people know who I am and stuff like that, you know, locally. But funerals, so people just type in Scottish celebrant. Like they've got maybe their dad was Scottish.
Well, that's that niche we were talking about as well, too.
That's it, yeah. So when you type in Scottish celebrant, I pop up.
Are you the only Scottish celebrant?
I think there's a woman
in
who's
Melbourne?
down in Gippsland somewhere who I've seen her pop up. But my friend that does my website for me and does all my socials, she's good with. She understands all the algorithms and how it works, and so she's got me up at top. But it's a niche market, not everyone. But if your dad was a Scotsman and or your mum, and you go, oh, it'd be nice if a Scotsman conducted the funeral and I turn up dressed
Well, you
like
wouldn't
that.
be looking for a Mexican, would you? No.
No, but if you were Mexican and you put a kilt on, you might have better legs than me, that's for sure.
I'd be looking forward to the tacos at the after party, to be quite honest.
Don't go there. But there we go. So that's me looking like I'm official. Yeah.
So that's it. So can you explain to me the pouchy thing on the front of the kilt? Can you explain to us what that is?
Yeah, that's called a sporran.
A spurn.
A sporran.
A spurn.
SPORRAN.
A sporran.
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 And that's designed to hold. See that flask that you've got there?
Aye.
That's designed to hold a flask.
So that fits in. It's like a little pouch behind it.
It's not a pouch. It's a sporran.
Sorry, mate.
Come on. Yeah.
And that holds just a standard
It
hip
does,
flask.
and nowadays you can put your phone in there, put your sunnies in there, and your wallet. But
Does like your whiskey get warm when it's sitting next to your nuts?
I'd rather not focus on my nuts at the moment. But
Just nuts in general.
Look, if you need a wee pick me up, you don't really care if it's slightly warm, do you?
No,
Let's
exactly.
be honest.
Well,
Yeah.
semantics. Hey, did you know how many celebrants there are in Australia? So you are one.
I'm one.
You're one of about 10,500.
Yeah, so you asked me this question before we went, before we went to air. And I thought it was about 2.5, but you've surprised me, 10,000 odd.
Well, so on top of that, we've got all the religious celebrants as well too, which I think is another 2,500 on top of that. So you're one of. How does that make you feel? You've never looked at it like that?
I've never really thought about it. No, the one thing that I have done is, like I said just a moment ago, I've been standing in front of 200, 300, 400 people, doing my thing, and I inside my own head I've thought, what's happening here? This is me, a guy from Glasgow, and now I'm standing up in Australia doing this and marrying a couple or conducting a funeral, and you kind of think, well, life's funny that way, isn't it?
Yeah.
But ultimately, the satisfaction you get is once it's finished and it's done and you're over, and you might be having a beer with the family or at the wake, and you think, and people come up to you and thank you or congratulate you and a job well done and stuff, and it feels really nice. Aye.
Oh, very satisfactory.
Aye.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So you stay around after the ceremony, or is there certain situations where you do your job and then just leave?
Oh yeah, sometimes you just leave. Yeah. A lot of the ones that are friends, I get invited to the wedding, to the
reception.
The reception, yeah. So you have the bonus of getting paid, and then the bonus of having
free drinks,
a free drink and a meal, and
nice,
and company for the night. Which last Saturday is what I did, and next Saturday that's what I'm doing as well. So, so that's great. But quite often with funerals, it's just a case of you finish, you console the family, shake their hands, give them a hug, and then you leave. Yeah. So, but yeah, it for me, for my type of personality, and I love company and I love people and all that stuff. So it's kind of a good fit. I believe it is. Yeah.
What's your personal belief on marriage as an institution?
I suppose I'm old school. I mean, I've been married for 33 years, 34 years, something like that. So Helen, my beautiful wife, and she'll be watching this. Hello, Helen. I do love you. I'm sorry about the Buckfast. No, we've got. Look, we're lucky. We've happy marriage, and we're lucky not to be smug married person like other people will be going, oh, fucking smug, isn't he? And I get that as well. I think it's nice. It's not for everyone. I wouldn't if you're 20, Ma, if you're through there, you're 16. I wouldn't be rushing into it, mate. I'll be honest. Take your time, and make sure you get it right. If you meet the right person, I'd say yeah. If you don't meet the right person, just keep rolling along and see how it goes. I personally think it's a nice thing, but it's not for everyone.
I don't know if we discussed this earlier or not, but I've been married 3 times.
Oh, have you?
I've actually officially been married 4 times.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. Well,
Where Mav's mum, we got married in Australia and then in Canada.
Right.
So I've got 4 ceremonies under my belt.
Yeah, right.
And of course, my lovely wife Ashley is number 3, which I don't know personally how she feels about that when she's asked about it. It's not a common question that people ask.
Yeah.
You know, people don't go, oh, how many times have you been married?
Yeah.
And it's funny when people realise that you're 3rd time lucky or 3 times around the block.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they're genuinely inquisitive as to what's wrong with you or what's wrong with the wives that you've had. I appreciate and cherish every marriage that I've had. You know, I got married at 23 purely because I thought that's what you should do. I was brought up in this environment where you work, you get a house, you get married, you have a family.
Yeah.
That was just
right,
the white picket fence scenario.
Yeah.
I've done 7 to 10 year cycles all my life, which is it's not a bad thing. I mean,
if
you're
about due for a
right now, I am.
refresh.
Yeah, I am. My wife's
Ashley. You need to have a chat with him.
Don't fuck it up. Things are going.
Nah,
things are going all right.
You're going to be right.
Things are going all right. But as I said, I don't look back on that and cringe at that scenario. As I said, if you're in a situation with a partner and it's not working out, I think it's best for you to separate and to move on.
Yeah.
A lot of people, like if they move countries or they move states or whatever, it's not a one-way ticket. I mean, you just once you've exited the situation that you're in, you know, you can always go back again. You can always reinvest. I know a lot of people that have been married and have divorced, had a shitty separation. There's kids involved. They don't want to get married again. They don't want to reinvest in that. And you can see why marriage rates are declining, which means that divorce rates are declining, because people have been more choosy about the life decisions that they make. And if you look at the social media side of things and instant gratification, people have been more wary about making a commitment. They're making the commitment later in life. They're not having kids for whatever reason, and they're just making sure that that's the right decision to make.
Look, it's a massive decision. Like I said before, it's not for everyone, and it shouldn't be. Personally, I waited until I was in my early 30s before I got married, and I don't regret that. I enjoyed my 20s, but I was ready by the time by the time I met Helen, and we were together 7 years before we even got married. But so for us, it's been good, and we, thankfully, touch wood, we have a happy marriage, and we're good mates as well, as much as being married to one another as well. So
that belief in the fundamental basis of a marriage.
Yeah, and I think it's a good thing. It's not for everyone. That's
exactly.
For sure. Aye.
Have you ever facilitated a marriage where you didn't think something was right during the ceremony? Was there somebody making some?
Yeah. So one of the legal conditions is prior to any wedding, any that you commit to, any wedding ceremony, you've actually got to ask consent like you should do before you have sex. Make sure you've both got each other's consent.
Yeah.
Right. You actually have to ask if it's a man and a woman, you have to ask them both separately, independently. Are you happy with this? Are you quite? You actually have to get their consent legally, and it's not something they sign off to. They just have to say it. And if you feel that, let's say a woman, I've never been in that situation, not yet. I've never felt any. But if you do feel that it's an arranged marriage or a forced marriage or a marriage of convenience or even one that's being done purely for visa regulations, then you should walk away from that ceremony and don't conduct it. So
is there a reporting service? So you're basically saying, look, this doesn't sit well with me because I can understand that maybe they get married for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
You walk away, or you say, look, I can't conduct the ceremony.
You can't.
Do you report that? Is there reporting?
Well, you should email Births, Deaths and Marriages, Victoria, and let them know what happened and why.
So you've got a bit of power where you can veto something, and then you can potentially stop that happening. Yeah. Of course, they can go to another celebrant and
100%
and happen.
But if it's an arranged marriage or a forced marriage or anything that doesn't seem right, and if you feel uncomfortable, absolutely you can walk away. And as part of that legal requirement, walk away if you feel safe. See if you felt unsafe and that something might happen, like physical violence, for instance, conduct it and then report it.
How much time do you actually physically spend with the bride and the groom prior to the ceremony?
So there's a minimum of 31 days prior to the wedding date that you've got to fill out the official paperwork. You can meet them in person. I prefer to meet them in person, but nowadays you can actually do it online because of the whole COVID thing. Because I'm going to marry a couple later in the year who are up in Ballarat, which for those of you who don't know Victoria, it's about maybe 2.5, 3 hours away. So we did it online just a couple of weeks ago. You can do that legally now. That's just a fairly new.
So this is like the pre-interview prior to.
Yeah, the pre-interview where you do the paperwork. You have to confirm identity. So passports, you've got to ask them. For if they've ever been divorced, ever been married before, and if they have, you've got to get proof of divorce papers. You've got to view the passports. You've got to physically view them, signing the paperwork. So,
there's no counselling. There's no counselling of any sort.
There is a little bit. Yeah. So the only counselling is we've all got these pamphlets, small pamphlets, where you talk about, and this is my way of framing it. I just say, look. Marriage is great and you're going to have a lot of fun and it's going to be great, but you must understand that it's not always going to be like it is now, the honeymoon stage and the
rainbows and flowers.
Yeah, there are going to be tough moments, and when they do arise, talk to your friends, talk to your family, and if need be, talk to a professional. Get professional help together. Or separately or together. So you make them aware of that, and you've actually got to do that as well. So, and I just leave it at that, and then I'll just say, look, I've been married 30 odd years. It ain't all like you say. It's not all just fun and games. It can get, especially when kids come along, mortgages, work stresses, etc. They're going to be challenges. So you just keep talking to each other, and I just frame it exactly like I've just done, and most couples get that, and I hope it sort of sits with them.
Is that your secret sauce with your wife, with Helen? With the ideal scenario in a marriage? We're talking about the fundamentals. We're talking about communication.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we're good. We're good together. We sit and we chat, have a laugh, and we're lucky. We've got two lovely daughters who are great girls. We've got two sons-in-law. They're neither of my girls are married yet, but they've both got partners, and we've got a little granddaughter, Polly, who's the light of our life as well. So yeah, we've got a nice family dynamic sort of thing. And Helen and I we're good at talking to each other as well, you know. So
You've had to work on it. Of course, there's been situations where...
yeah.
Because that's the thing, nothing comes without effort.
Well, I told you about the dark days of the lockdown period, etc. So, yeah, you work your way through it, and yeah, there's been times when she's told me to go and get stuffed, and I went and got stuffed. So, yeah, it's been good.
So, how do you think the role of a marriage celebrant has changed you over the last years? Do you think you got some rounded edges now?
Yeah, probably. I think over the 30-odd years in sales, a lot of my rough edges get sort of smoothed out, I suppose, didn't they? You become more professional, don't you? Then you also become older and you become a bit wiser, perhaps, and you experience a lot of stuff in life. And but the celebrancy stuff's been nothing but a positive for me. It's been amazing. So it's not how I earn my living. It's how I have a bit of fun whilst also, you know, bit of pocket money as well, you know. And you don't even necessarily do it for the money. You just do it because it's a nice occupation. And I wanted to throw in before we go that people say funerals, fucking hell, that must be depressing. You'd be surprised it's not. It can actually be uplifting. And I've walked away from funerals and I've had family hug me and thank me for the job I've just done, and I've just put their dad, you know, into a well, they're already in a coffin, obviously, but we've lowered them into the ground, and people have thanked me for doing such a great job and stuff, and that's you're on the drive back home and you're thinking, geez, this is a bit mad, isn't it? But it's lovely.
It makes you understand how important words can be at certain times.
Yeah. I know, and do you know what? A lot of people are not great talkers and all. I've been sort of given this gift. I know I talk bullshit, and I know that I'm funny and cheeky and all that stuff, and it's nice. But I also know that I've been given this sort of gift of being able to talk, and the very title celebrant means that you should bring people together and help them celebrate, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's sort of, so that's, you know, I'd been told long before I studied it I should be doing it, and I'd kind of thought about it, and like I say, I procrastinated and I didn't bother, but then eventually I bit the bullet. And for me now at my age, I can see myself doing this through until I'm older, and it's a nice way to round off my career as well, you know. Yeah.
What do you think your mates are going to say about you at your funeral?
Oh, you're a dickhead. He was a dickhead.
No, I thought you called me a dickhead.
No. No. They're going to say I'm a dickhead. That's for sure. Yeah, funny and loyal, good mate, I hope. And yeah, good bloke. If those words are uttered after my funeral, he was a good bloke, that'll do me.
You'd be happy with that?
I think I'd be happy with that, yeah.
Fucking brilliant.
Oh, no, I've got a book recommendation.
Oh,
for
sorry,
you,
we forgot about that. Yes.
So,
and I think this is probably perfect.
Yes. So I actually am going to lend you this book because I think you could do with it. So I'm going to hold it up to the camera. It's called How Not to Become, there we go, a Grumpy Old Bugger.
Fucking hell.
Now, it's a great book. I recommend it for any bloke, especially as you're getting older. You're about to consider retirement. You're looking at that next stage in your life. And it's not only for blokes, it's also for your missus. Your missus should read it. It's got a great message about planning for your retirement, about how not to become a grumpy old bugger, about generational change. Now, your boy Mav is sitting next door working all the magic. You guys look as though you've got a great relationship. It's about the next generation, 2 generations below you, about being aware of the fact that we're all different in different age groups and stuff, and not being scared of technology. It also addresses your mental health, your sexual health as you get older. And it's funny as well. So it's not just boring like philosophy. It's fucking funny, and there's some great stuff in there. So I want to lend that to you, and I'm going to ask you to get it back to me when you're finished, because it's one of those books, I think you should read it maybe every year or every second year, especially when you're hitting your 60s and through your... So it's a really interesting read. It kind of blew my mind, That's why I brought it with me here, because I think anyone who's sort of getting up there in years should have a read of it.
Well, it says on the front cover, life's too short to be a grump. This will lighten you up.
Yeah.
Interesting. Start that again. Interesting, witty, and thought-provoking. Fuck, I can't use my words. Too many drinks. Mate, I really appreciate this.
Yeah.
You've hit the nail on the head. This is not what I want to be.
Nah,
this is not what I want to be as I get older, and I think consciously,
Yeah.
It's already in the back of my mind that I need to make some changes. And
after I met you, and then we discussed coming on this podcast, and I had already read it, and I thought, yeah, this is a good one to share with your viewers and your listeners, because the whole point of your show is a positive outlook on life, and you know you've got a leaning towards men's health and mental health, and
and female as well too, of course.
So
of course.
Just to sort of give you a background, I lent that book to a friend of mine at work. Now she's a woman, and she said, "Oh, my husband's just retired." I said, "I've just read a brilliant book. I'll lend it to you." And I told her what it was all about, and I gave it to her, and she took it home, gave it to her husband, and her husband said to her, "Darling, you need to read this as well." So she read it, my friend at work, and she said, "Dave, we've both connected on so many different levels on what, because it's about men not becoming old and grumpy, but it helps if your wife understands your point of view as
exactly.
well.
Exactly.
So yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and I think you'll get a lot out of it.
Mate, I'm sure I will. Once again, thank you very much. I really
You're welcome.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Cheers.
That's a wrap, man.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in and for your time. You know the vibe, I'm steady living until I die. It's a loose state of mind, and we showed you that. Keep it authentic and real, I hope you coming back. Hey, make sure that you subscribe, cause we got it popping all the time, and it's going down. If you wanna elevate, wanna live a better life, keep it locked here. You know it's a loose state of mind, let's go.